There is a moment in every life when you decide to rise, to stand taller than your fear, to speak louder than your doubt, to chase the vision that sets your soul on fire. This is that moment. And here, we walk it together with stories that awaken, voices that inspire, and truths that set you free. This is Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where hope has a voice, and that voice is yours. And welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Kevin, and Rochelle is right there. Rochelle, how are you?
I'm good, Kevin. It's one of those days, but we have a guest on that I'm excited to learn from because he's got a different perspective and a different spin on helping people with their love life.
Indeed, indeed. And, he did a TED Talk, and I listened to a portion of his TED Talk, and he was talking about 2008, and I'd love for him to repeat that story because there was a point in time when things weren't, going all that well. But Anil, welcome to the show. It's awfully nice to have you here. It's great to see you.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Rochelle. Very honored to be here. And my promise is this, that people will gain immense knowledge, practical knowledge that they can immediately apply so they can add more years to their life and more life to their years. So it's going to be very powerful and very practical.
Rochelle, are you familiar with a gentleman by the name of Jack Canfield?
Yes, he wrote all those. He was involved in, I can't remember what they're called, but I used to read these books that were snippets of stories that I absolutely loved. So I think I probably read every single one of his books, and he's been in quite a few.
And he is on Anil's website and gives him a rousing recommendation. And to get his book, which Anil's also got a book out, and we're going to talk about all of that. But I got to ask you, young man, how did all of this begin for you?
Well, obviously I was born.
Yeah.
It does happen.
But really, it was 2008. It was November 2008. So exactly 17 years ago. I'd lost everything on the stock market, real estate, in the recession, depression, whatever. And I went up to my bedroom. I was in a hotel at the time, and I had to tell my wife. I thought, she's going to find out. And, that if people coming to repossess the house, repossess the cars, there's no money in the bank. So I said, honey, something really bad has happened. She said, what's going on? I said, I've lost everything. We're going to, be destitute. And she looked up at me and she smiled. And I thought, what's wrong with you? And she asked, did you not hear what I said? She said, yeah, honey, I thought there was something seriously wrong because you've been behaving strangely, which I had been. And she said, I thought you had cancer. I thought you were dying. I don't care about the money. So Kevin, Rochelle, when you have a partner like that behind you, it doesn't matter. You are going to be elevated, propelled. You're going to be so encouraged to succeed. And that's what I did. I started speaking on stages, 5, 10, 15, 20, 50, 100, 500, eventually 10,000 people. And it's because of that, a huge weight lifted off my shoulder. A lot of guilt disappeared. And the relationship part of life is so powerful and so important. People are very successful, but they're not fulfilled because they come home, they're not treated well, they're disconnected with their children, they're disconnected with their spouses. So it's really an important piece of leading a richer, fuller, happier life.
Having a good, solid relationship with somebody who actually loves you and you love them is, I'm sad to say, is a little rarer than I would like it to be. Is that true?
Well, I think people think that's the case, but there's a lot of great marriages, but they just focus on the marriage. They don't, blurt it out on social media. They don't show off. They just have, great marriages. And it's important to know that you're setting a precedent for a legacy over generations and generations. And just keeping things so simple, listening to your partner, communicating with them, making them important rather than the business or external things. And it makes all the difference. It makes a difference.
That is the secret to a good relationship. I think I not that I would know, because I've never really, I don't know if I've really had a good relationship since I was a young lad. And so yeah, what is it that makes for a great relationship?
The number one thing is you have to pick right. Okay, you don't want to be in a relationship where you're trying to fix the other person.
Yeah.
So the number one thing is this: make your partner your number one priority. Just like you do when you first date. You made them a priority. But then as you progressed in that relationship, it became transactional. Oh, he didn't do that for me. I'm not going to do that for him. Oh, she didn't do that. Oh, I'm not going to do that. I'll only do that if she does this or he does that. Then it becomes, instead of 100-100, it becomes 80-20, then 40-60, then 50-50. And that's when you have the problem. But if you make your partner your number one priority, they'll never leave you. They'll never leave you.
That's true.
Rochelle?
Yeah, it makes me think, what is there a factor that you've seen pop up the most where people struggle that is so simple with relationships in general?
Well, it's the dating facade. When boy meets girl, they go on a date and they're on best behavior. So they're basically showing off. They're basically acting the best possible way they can to get to the next date, to the next date. So you're not really engaging or getting married to the person that you think you are. And, if you were to buy a house, Kevin, you would do your due diligence. You look at the appraisal, the mortgage, the interest rate, the inspection, the neighborhood, the hospitals, roads, everything. Most people don't do that in a relationship. They meet someone, they have eye contact, they think, oh, this is a deep connection. And they think this is it. And most people have 5 or 6 relationships before they get married. Every single one has failed. That's 100% fail record. And what do they think on the next one, the one that they get married? They say, I hope this works. You can't do that. It's ludicrous.
Yeah.
I have a good friend of mine that's been married 4 times. He can't seem to get it right. Why does that happen? Is it because he picks wrong and that they don't have the conversation that they need to have before they even begin?
Well, 2 things. 1, he's picking the wrong partners. 2, he needs to work on himself.
Oh, no, that's true.
So let me give an example. So if you were wanting to buy a house, you do your due diligence. But if you're wanting to sell your house, you've got to clean it up, tidy it up, make it, curb appeal, fix the things that are not fixed. But people don't do that. They want these things, but they're not being those things. So the number one thing is you have to work on yourself first. When you change, your vibrational energy changes. When your vibrational energy changes, you'll attract a beautiful soul into your life.
What happens, Doc? I call you Doc. You seem like a doctor to me, but what happens when, and like in my case, we got married, but we did not have the deep understanding of even what that meant. And she was younger than me. She was 4 years younger than me, had not dated much at all. And so we went through 24 years of marriage, but it wasn't like we were best friends necessarily. And we didn't understand each other. Is that how could, when you begin to go down that road and the person that you thought you knew is turning to be a little bit different than you thought they were, and you're not, and you're working to raise your vibration and your energy, and they're not. How do you make that? How do you then make that all work? I still to this day haven't got any idea how I could have done it differently.
So the
or
thing is,
properly booked way.
you shouldn't focus on making it work. You should focus on getting clarity, getting data, and then making an informed choice. Because you could be taking a horse to water, but it'll never drink. So, Kevin, there are 3 criteria you must have in a relationship. The first one is integrity, being your word, not gossiping, not complaining, doing what you say you're going to do. Okay, being honest, reliable, trustworthy. 2, they have to be loving, not just to you, but to everybody, not transactionally. And the third one is they have to grow emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, and financially. Okay. Now, so let's, this is a live show, so this is so interesting. Did she have integrity?
Well, it depends on the early part or the end part. The end part, no.
Okay,
The early part, she had more.
Yeah. So the early part, it's a good relationship, but as time goes on, it dissipates. Then you've got data. Okay. Was she loving?
Okay,
we got the answer there.
Yeah. if we were doing a check mark thing, it would be like, no, I can't check that one. And so,
okay, good.
But keep going.
And the third one is, was she healthy, emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, and financially?
No.
So it's a 0 out of 3. You made the right choice. Okay.
And I'm much happier now because I'm not in that mess. Yeah. And that's what it was.
But a lot of people will stay in a relationship, one, because they're so scared what other people think. 2, it's a rule that they have. My society, doesn't believe in divorces, whatever. Or 3, they say, well, it's better than nothing. If I leave, I may not find someone. So, but the most important thing is what's best for you. You've got 50, 60 years ahead of you. Why should you compromise on the quality of your life? Don't do it.
And I have to tell you, and I know Rochelle's got a billion questions she'd like to ask you, but before we go into that, you mentioned it was a generational thing, and you are absolutely so right, because my parents got married. He was 21, she was 19. They did not understand what love was. They didn't know how to apply it. They didn't know how to communicate with each other. And so they were married for 54 years, I think it was, but they never had that deep connection that then transferred to their kids. And so I never heard the word "I love you" in my house when I was growing up. And that makes it tough for the kids and that for the entire family, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is a generational problem. I mean, I would never hug my dad. I didn't know what a hug was until I was maybe about 40-ish, 38. And we just didn't do it. And, they would never say, oh, I'm proud of you. I respect you. I love you. You're doing a great job, But those times were different because we knew what we had to do, We had to study, we had to work hard, we had a hard work ethic, and we didn't have the distractions with social media and things like that. We would watch comedies which were very clean but very funny. We would go out the entire day and just do what we needed to do. But the problem today is all the kids need to be entertained, 24/7 on the iPad, on the TV, on social media, on Instagram, all of that stuff. And it's a big problem. The greatest gift you can give your kids is this. And we were given this, Kevin, is this. Give your kids the ability to handle life by throwing adversity at them. But nowadays, all the kids are enabled and entitled. Not all the kids, but they're enabled and entitled. So they don't know how to handle adversity. They don't know how to handle a job. They don't know how to handle a relationship. They don't know how to handle communication. So it's causing a lot of problems.
Yes, indeed. Well, I got to tell you, that's one of the reasons why I'm so happy to have Rochelle here, because I don't know if you've noticed, but she's a little younger than me. And so her life experience is completely different than mine was. And so isn't it, Rochelle?
Yeah, it's 100% different. And that leads me into a question I would love to ask you. So, Kevin, can we take our first break? And then I'm ready.
Yes, ma'am. And we're talking with Anil Gupta, and he's, by the way, he's world famous love doctor. And when I say world famous, I'm not the kidding. He's a world famous dude. So, although I'm not sure that I should call you dude, but anyway, but we will. Yeah, we will be right back. It's just a minute and 2 seconds. Stay right with us. Here's another point to ponder from Positive Talk Radio. What is the easiest thing to justify? It is a small transgression. The one no one will ever see, no one will ever know. The tiny exaggeration on the expense report. The extra minute you took on your lunch break. The packaging you tossed in the wrong recycle bin because it was closer. In those moments, the question isn't, will I get caught? The question is, will I know? It isn't about avoiding punishment. It's a silent agreement you make with yourself when you choose to do the right thing. To return the wallet. To fix the mistake. To respect the empty space. You aren't impressing the world. You're earning your own respect. That small choice, made entirely in private, is how you build a life you never have to look away from. The only audience that matters is you. And welcome back to Positive Talk. My name is Kevin, and Brachelle's right there. And Anil Gupta is our guest, and he is the love doctor and I just love that. I love saying that. He's a love doctor.
Love.
So, Brachelle.
Yes. I'm wondering, so when you are searching and figuring out, is this person right for me? What are some important questions we can make sure to ask right off the bat to know if it is worth both of our time?
Great. So the first thing is, it's a wrong question you're asking. Is this the right person for me? Okay. Because, as soon as you say that, there's a little bit of attachment. Okay. So we have to do our due diligence. Mm-hmm. The more times we say no, allows us to say yes to the right person. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, Brachelle, can I ask you a personal question?
Sure.
Okay. So suppose you're at an event, and someone approaches you and says, "Oh, Brachelle, I love your energy. You're amazing. I'd love to take you out to dinner. Can I have your number?" What would you say?
I would probably say no.
Okay. Why is that?
Because at one point there will probably be something that will happen and it will turn me away, and then I will never talk to you again. So I avoid that.
So you're very smart. Most women will say yes. As soon as you say yes, you're giving your power away to someone else. Okay, so let's role play. I'll be the lady, you be the man. Ask me the same question.
What did you ask me? Oh my gosh.
Can I have your telephone number?
Oh yeah. Can I have your number? I love your energy.
Yeah, me too.
I love that. See, things like that will naturally come out of my mouth as well, because there, like you said, social media is also affecting that, right? Can I have your Snapchat? Do you have Instagram? Do you have Facebook? And what I usually do is I will guide them on their phone to my Facebook and allow them to see who I am and things that I post and experience it there. And I don't like giving out my personal phone number for many reasons because then I have to block more people. But then either I have control if they message me on a different platform than that. I have control of that space. Does that make sense?
And you should. See, a woman needs to feel safe. Okay, so let's role play again. Then I would ask, hey, can I ask you a question? What's an act of kindness you performed in the last 4 days? So throw it back at them. So what you're doing, you're testing them. And a man, Brachelle, that type of man is not the right guy for you, because the right guy for you would never, ever ask you for your number. He'd get to know you. He'd get to see who you are, what you stand up for. He would participate in things at the same places. But if someone comes up to say, "Oh, I like your energy," I'm like, "No, get lost."
Yeah.
Because
You're really
they
cute.
could ask 10
You
people.
want to go out sometime? I'm like, no, honestly, I don't have time for that. And
No.
they're stunned. But then the conversation gets awkward because then well, you know, what are they going to say? That's when they start, when you tell them no, that's when they start asking questions about you, trying to get to know you, to try to work up to the yes. And then, you know, at that point, I usually shut them down and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm really not in this conversation and I'm going to go
Good
walk
for
away
you.
somewhere else.
Yeah. And it's great you do that, because they'll try and manipulate the conversation. Their intention isn't pure. Yeah. So that's really good. So if say you were looking for an ideal partner, if you were to go fishing, you would go where the fish are, correct?
Right.
Obvious. But if you're looking for a partner, where would the type of partner you want hang out? It would be at a church function, the Rotary Club, a charity function, a pickleball club, tennis club, the marina, the golf club, anything like that. Go where they would hang out and then observe them. Are they contributing or are they ordering people around? Are they, humble, or are they, charismatic? And a golden rule, Brichelle, Kevin, golden rule: never, ever, ever engage with a what's the word? Someone who's very charming, charismatic person, because they always want attention. If you don't give it to them, they'll get it from somewhere else.
And that can lead to narcissistic tendencies.
Absolutely, yeah. You're just a pawn.
Yeah. Well, one thing that comes up. Sorry, Kevin, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
One thing that comes up a lot in younger relationships is insecurity. And I don't think we know how to really spot it until it's clashed in front of our face. So when you are looking at those specifics, how are some ways that you can, like, is there words you can listen for, like other phrases you just mentioned, that will tell you, no, that's not my values?
Okay, so give me an example of what you mean by insecure.
I got one.
Please do, Kevin.
And that would be the insecurity around your phone, meaning that the person that you're dating suddenly says, give me your password to your phone. Now, it's your phone. And if they trust you, in my humble opinion, if they trust you, they're never going to ask you for your password. They're never going to look at your phone because they trust you and they believe in you. But that's the insecurity of, I need to look at her phone to see if there are any other men there that she's talking to. And that is that a good example of insecurity?
That's one example.
Made one.
Yeah. But you don't tend to find that until later on. Yeah. So in that case, what I would say is, what if I don't give it to you? And then what you're doing, you're collecting, I call it ABCD, always be collecting data. You're putting them under stress. You see how they perform. If they say, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. That tells you maybe they're a little bit on edge.
Yeah, because it's like, if you don't give them your password to your phone, if you're in a relationship and they want your password to your phone and you don't give it to them, that generally leads to like a 2-hour argument followed by nobody talks to each other for a little while.
Well, there's an easy fix to that.
What's
Face
that?
ID.
Yep.
Yeah. So my I've been married 37 years, 2 months, and 16 days. Not that I'm counting, but yeah, my wife has it all. It's okay. There's nothing, and this is the other thing, is about integrity. There's nothing that she would find on my phone which would cause her concern. Nothing, Donata.
Yep.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
I want to ask
Go ahead,
one
Michelle.
more question, Kevin.
Okay,
Because
she's into this. Kevin, you sit down and be quiet.
Yeah, I'll just go away because I haven't dated since 1980. So, I don't know anything.
no, Kevin, this is good for you to learn because you're gonna go on a date, trust me. But I'm thinking, so is there habits that you should have with your partner to keep a healthy relationship from the start?
Yeah, it really the biggest thing is communication.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and say, look, honey, if ever you're upset with me, please let me know. Or if you see your partner upset, say, honey, it looks as though you're upset. Are you upset with me? Or are you just upset? And if she says, I'm just upset, and then you can ask, what can I do to serve you? If she says nothing, that's fine. See, my wife would sometimes get upset and I would try and fix it. They don't want to be fixed. And I would be upset because she's upset. But we have to be independent. So women, they want to feel safe. They want to feel understood. They want to feel heard. They want their man to be present. They want gifts and words of affirmation, things like that. The easiest way to find out what a woman wants, Kevin, this is very simple. It's just ask them, Brichelle, what can I do as a man to make you feel even more loved? And she'll tell you. What else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I do? And men want respect. Women want love. Men want respect. So if you say to a man, good job, well done, I'm proud of you, you're amazing, they would feel, oh my God, this is incredible. We want to be respected. We want, words of affirmation. We want touch, intimacy, gifts, words. Very simple stuff. And once you stop doing that, that's when you get the problems.
By the way, I just have to ask you, where were you in 1980 when I was dating the woman who would not tell me the truth ever, or would not tell me what?
I was lost.
Me too, apparently.
I knew nothing. Oh my gosh.
Well, and that's a really cool thing is that a little bit of seasoning, and you get a lot more versed in and what to do and what to not do, and the type of person that you would like to be around, and the person that you would rather not be around. But Anil, there are so many people that are, I can't be alone. I don't want to be alone. I got to have a relationship. I've got to have somebody. And it may not be the perfect person, but at least it's a human being and they're warm and tough. Rather than I'm going to hold out for somebody that I really, really want to spend time with. Yeah. Why do we do that?
Well, it's fear and it's social pressures. If you're a class of 15 other students and they've all each got boyfriends and you think, oh, there's something wrong. And my daughter was 13 or 14 or 15. And I asked her this question, honey, how many of your friends have got boyfriends and girlfriends? She said, most of them. I said, oh, that's interesting. Do you ever feel a little bit of pressure? She said, sometimes I do that. But honestly, it doesn't make sense to me. I said, why is that? So, well, they're boyfriend and girlfriend, then they break up, then they're not boyfriend and girlfriends, and they're complaining about each other. I said, oh, that's interesting. I said, imagine that happens and then they get married. How many relationships do you think they would have before they get married? They said, well, my dad, maybe 10 or 15. And I said, honey, don't you realize that every one of those has failed? And they thought that was the one. They thought that was the one. And then how much baggage and how much pain and suffering will they bring to that relationship? So she didn't date. And she just waited and waited. And first boyfriend, age of 24, using the formula. And, I'm Indian, you may have guessed. So we have to vet our future, boyfriends and son-in-laws. And she brought him in and, I did the stuff, if you do anything, who are you? What are your potential, all that stuff. And then my daughter said, what's the score, Dad? I said, honey, I'm really not happy. I am not happy at all. And you could see like a tear forming. And she said, Dad, why? He's amazing. I said, I know. And she got confused. Huh? Yeah, he's a 12 out of 10. Yeah, I'm delighted. And she thought, And he was. No baggage, no trauma, no, what are the other? Baggage, trauma, drama. Yeah.
Just
And beautiful. And they have a child. They've been married 3 years. They've been together 8. And he will never leave her. And she will never leave him. It's simple. When you pick the right person, just be patient.
and people have trouble being patient because it's like when somebody says to me, well, yeah, have you seen any movies lately? And I said, no, I'm single, I don't go to movies. And they said, why don't you go to movies? And it's because I don't want to have my popcorn and my pop in my hands and walking down the aisle and having somebody say, oh, that poor man, he doesn't have any friends and stuff. So it would embarrass me. So that's why I don't do it. We need to take a break. Anil Gupta is with us. He is the love doctor, and you need to give him a call because he does speaking. He is also a coach. He does some incredible work. He's got a book out that we're going to talk about in the second half, and he's also got a program that we can talk about as well. And we will be right back. Rochelle, you taking notes?
I have way too many notes. And while we're at this break, everybody, go visit his website, which is meetanil.com. And like Kevin said, we'll be right back to talk about more great things with love.
I love the way you say that. And we'll be right back.
You're listening to Brushwood Media Network, the best in syndicated talk, news, and entertainment shows.
Are you looking for your daily dose of inspiration? Stay connected to all your favorite shows, music, and news with the Brushwood Media Network app. From Positive Talk Radio to Greatest Vibes Unplugged and so many more uplifting voices around the world, everything you need is right in one place. It's easy to use, too. Always available and designed to keep you inspired 24 hours a day. Go to brushwoodmedianetwork.com and download the app, and you will always have Brushwood Media available on your smartphone. Download it now and make inspiration and music and conversation part of your everyday. And welcome back to Positive Talk. My name is Kevin McDonald, and Rochelle is right there, and Anil Gupta is the love doctor, and he is very intelligent about this whole relationship thing and how it works. I still ain't figured it out. Have you, Rochelle? You're a lot younger than me.
No, Kevin, I am one of those people who has the pressures. All my friends, except for one, all in relationships, all married or have a kid or have a crazy, stressful, chaotic relationship and don't know how to get out of it. I've got all the things going on, and they are the reason why I am in the slow lane. I'm almost 27, and a lot of people are starting to ask me, like, are you just going to find somebody? And I know that's what I wanted to ask you, is because I don't believe that we chase who is meant for us. We attract them. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's all vibration. And Michelle, I promise you, you're doing the right thing. See, what happens is this: people get into relationships, and then it's the crab syndrome. If you put 5 buckets in a crab, one tries to leave, they all pull it down.
Yeah.
So they don't want you to be happy outside. So they try and tell you, oh, we're really happy, but they're not. You know, they realize they made a mistake. They put 3 years into it. She got pregnant, blah, blah, blah. It'd be too much trouble to cancel the wedding, or whatever it is. But you've got 60, 70, 80 years of relationship ahead of you. Always do the 3 criteria: integrity, loving, and healthy, not just in relationships, but in your friends. You know, if your friends are cheating on each other, don't spend much time with them, because it rubs off on you. And if you go into business with someone, integrity, loving, and healthy, they will come to you. But what you'll find is that the person that you're looking for may not be extroverted. They may be a little bit of an introvert. I'm an introvert, but I can step into the extrovert. So I call myself an ambivert. So if you see me somewhere, I'll keep quiet until I need to speak up. I've spoken in front of 10,000 people, so speaking isn't a problem, but I just like to observe and, have a high level of awareness. So then you'll just meet someone doing something that you love. If it's hiking, walking, talking, cricket, basketball or pickleball or tennis, whatever it is. And then that's how we used to meet people, through proximity. See, proximity is power. That's how you get to know people in real life without pretending to be someone. There are two types of people on the planet. Very simple. Ones that make you happy when you enter a room. Ones that make you happy when you leave a room. That's it. Very simple.
That's true.
But I prefer the people that you're happy to see walk into the room rather than I wish you would leave now, people.
Yep. And I have one last question before we talk about your program, and I'm curious on the method that you said your daughter took, because I need some tips. But before we get into that, I have to ask you, have you found that there's main things that a person needs to work on within themselves first? Is it those 3 things that they work on first in themselves before even putting themselves accessible to meet somebody else, to take care of that baggage and clear all that stuff?
Yeah, the number one thing is forgiveness. Forgiving yourself. Forgiveness is the express pathway to freedom. The quality of your life is dependent upon the depth and authenticity of the forgiveness you extend to yourself and to others. Stop beating yourself up. Every time you do that, you're taking away your joy and you're eating yourself up. It's like you taking a poison, hoping something happens to someone else. So forgiveness is a big thing. That's one of the big things that I do. And the other thing is awareness. Awareness gives you clarity. Clarity gives you focus. Focus gives you action. Action gives you results. Results gives you momentum, which gives you everything. You cannot be joyous. You cannot be healthy. You cannot be successful. You cannot be in love without awareness. So most people are unaware. They die at 25 and they're buried at 75. They lead lives of mediocrity. So take your time. And within 3, 6, 9 months, and with my program, I would say 6 to 9 months, you'll be able to filter people out, then filter people into your life. And it's just so blissful. And then when you find this beautiful relationship, Rochelle, it's just so much more easy. You're not running around trying to please them. You're not pretending. You can just be you. And they can just be them. My wife and I have. It's effortless. It's just so easy.
You are a lucky man, I do have to tell you, because and you mentioned, Anil, that most of your relationships, your romantic relationships, have failed. As a matter of fact, all of them, if you up till that moment. And so we end up being kind of needy. It's like, oh, they're paying attention to me. I better pay attention back, because they may be the last one that's ever going to want to talk to me ever again, kind of thing. And so because all of our relationships fail, we don't know how to succeed at one. Is that true?
Well, there's a lot of fear, a lot of worry, a lot of concern, what other people think. And also if you're picking the wrong person, and also if you're not working on yourself, there's going to be so many different things that are going to be mismatched. But if you work on yourself and the other person's working on themselves, it's just more clearer and more communicative and more understanding and more empathetic and more sympathetic and more loving and more caring and more generosity and more understanding. And when you have that filters down to your kids and your kids' kids and your kids' kids. So it's really very important, performing acts of kindness. See, when you perform an act of kindness, you feel good. The person receiving the act feels good. The person observing the act feels good. The person sharing the act feels good. The person observing the sharing feels good. So these are vibrational energies that can spark and maintain a relationship through anything rather than be transactional. So a lot of relationships are transactional now.
And when you say transactional, what exactly does that? That means that I'll give you this and you give me that kind of thing?
Yeah, it's tick for tack. Oh, you do that for me, I'll do that for you. Oh, she didn't do that. Why should I bother doing that? Instead of being so thoughtful, so if you look at my hands, they look normal, okay? And you think, well, what's he doing? So this hand was fractured August the 29th. I've got 9 fractures in here, and it was dislocated. It was a horrible experience. And in that moment, I was very upset, obviously. Then 20 seconds later, I was so grateful because it was my left hand. I'm right-handed. So gratitude is a big thing. Be grateful for what you have. Don't complain about other people. If you, Rochelle, if you're with someone and they're complaining about other people or they're gossiping, that's not healthy. You want to keep away from people like that. So ABCD, always be collecting data. The other
and I love
thing,
that you say that.
huh?
I love that you say that too, because of what you just said is why I spend so much time on my own.
Yeah. So there's a distinction. You're on your own, but you're not alone.
Yes.
It's a choice, and you're not lonely.
That is true.
Yes.
Yeah.
Look at me go.
Yeah,
so I'm curious, for
so
somebody to
important.
reach to obtain all of these things that you're talking about, for somebody who's in our audience, it's like, oh, that's impossible and love is always hard. What method did your daughter use?
So when people say love is hard, it's BS. You know what BS is? Before you say anything, it's a belief system that they have. So if they believe it's hard, it's hard. So many people say to me, I live in New York, all the men are married or gay. All the women are this and that. No, they're just not fishing in the right pool. So the best place to reach me is my website, meetanil.com. You'll have free resources. You'll have access to my book. It's called Immediate Happiness. And if you need help, I'm great at doing interventions to remove the obstacles that are preventing you from leading a richer, fuller, happier life.
And you can go to your website and you can get on the calendar and have a 15-minute meeting with you to assess everything. What goes on in that 15-minute meeting?
Well, I look at where you are. I look at where you want to get to, and I help you get there. See, the way therapy works is they look at where you are and how you got there. If you went to Orlando International Airport and say, hey, how did you get here, sir? They don't want to know that. Where do you want to go? So I help through my intuitive skills. I've been doing this for over 27 years. I get you from A to B really, really fast and very practically.
Rochelle, go ahead.
I'm just thinking.
we can have a private conversation, Rochelle. Give me a call.
I think we're going to have to. Because
my pleasure. I'll give you 16 minutes.
Yes, I love the extra minute. But in all the stuff that you've talked about as well with, you mentioned at one point emotional stability. How important is it for both people to have emotional intelligence within themselves? Because from my experience in all relationships, what goes wrong is usually all based off of emotion. Yeah.
So, Rochelle, something really important is to find out how they get on with their parents. If there's a dysfunctionality, and it's normally the dad. He's never around, or this or that, or there was some other issues, abuse or trauma, or whatever. It's going to be a problem, and you can pick and choose. And as long as you've collected the data, it is a problem because you never know when it's going to be triggered. It could be later on in life. It could be this. Or it could be that. It's like a ticking time bomb, and it's something that you need to collect the data on for sure.
Very good.
Absolutely. And by the way, one of the telltale signs that I use is if I'm out to dinner with somebody and they're rude to the waitstaff, then I no longer want to have anything to do with them, because if they're going to be rude to them, at one point they're going to be rude to me, and that's not going to work out very well.
Yeah. So, Kevin, never take them out for dinner.
That's a good idea.
Really, I'm serious. Because you want to put them into a normal situation. Normally, they will pretend to be the best version of themselves, but go to an escape room or go for a hike, go for a walk, go for a coffee, and observe them. Are they present with you? Or are they looking around? Are they distracted? Or and that way, their guard is let down. So you see a truer version of them, and it'll be cheaper too. You'll save a lot of money.
I did that one time because I'm a Beatles fan from way back when.
Me too.
And well, then you'll appreciate this, and then we need to take a break. But I took a gal out to coffee because I thought maybe she would be interesting, and she was always smiling and all that kind of stuff. And so we went out to have coffee, and we started talking about music. And I happened to say that I'm a Beatles fan from when I was a little kid. And she said, "Oh, I hate the Beatles." And that was the end of that conversation, because if she wasn't even going to listen to what I said about the fact that I love the Beatles, and then she had to pop off when I hate them, it's like, why would I even want to talk to you anymore? So I got up and left. Again, we're talking with... Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd have said to her, it's obvious you have no taste. See ya.
I need some more flavor.
No, that's just perfect. And Anil Gupta is our guest. He's the Love Doctor. Go to his website, Prashel, which is
meetanil.com. He's got everything on there, from the coaching and even free tips and tricks and resources for you. So go check it out, and we'll be right back from the break.
The strength of staying kind from your friends at Positive Talk Radio. Kindness is not weakness. It takes real strength to stay kind in a world that often rewards anger, ego, and control. Being kind means choosing to act from your values, not your wounds. It means showing grace even when no one's watching. But kindness doesn't mean being passive. It doesn't mean letting people take advantage of your time, your energy, or your peace. You can be kind and still say no. You have a soft heart with firm boundaries. The strongest people I know are the ones who choose compassion without losing themselves. They've been hurt. They've been tested. And still, they choose to love and lead and to lift others anyway. Kindness is not about pleasing everybody. It's about honoring who you are and how you treat others, even when it's hard. So stay kind, stay human, and stay strong. And always remember this: be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got. And Anil Gupta is our guest. He's the Love Doctor. I have to ask you, young man, what did you think of that piece?
Kindness is everything. In the moment you're kind and generous and you give, all the pain and suffering disappears. And when I was suicidal, that's what I did. And I felt good, and it became an addiction. And we never know what other people are going through. Someone could be suicidal, someone's mother could be dying, someone's had a broken wrist. We just don't know. By you smiling at them, talking to them, I have a 3-foot rule, Kevin. Anyone who comes within 3 feet of me is going to get a positive comment. Hey, I like your handbag. I like your shoes. I like your dress. You have a great smile. What are you here for? Blah, blah, blah. So you have a name tag, blah, 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 blah. And that's what people don't do. They don't engage. There's no ulterior motive. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just trying to elevate the world. That's what we used to do. We were used to engage. Nowadays, people are looking down, or they're on their phone and walking. It's an accident waiting to happen.
Indeed it is. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, being kind doesn't cost you anything. And the reward can be huge for you and for the other person, because I drove a bus for 12 years and there were people that were homeless that would get on the bus, and I talked to them like they were just special. And that may have been the only conversation they had with anybody all day. And that was so sad. But I left that conversation better than when I went into that conversation. Because it's that important to me, which is why I play something along those lines. And, be kind to each other, because each other's all we've got. during every show, because it's so important to me. And Brachelle, I know I do it at nauseum, Brachelle, but that's just who I am.
Yeah, well, that's who we should be. That's why me, you, and Anil are all sitting here, is because we vibrate that energy and we understand that, and we can respect one another in our values because of our understanding. And I think that's the problem in most relationships, is there's just a lot of misunderstanding. And before we close out the show, I hate how this goes by so fast sometimes, but I have to ask you, Anil, if somebody's been listening to this and they're thinking to themselves, my partner doesn't have any of those things, and this has been on my mind a lot, and I don't know what to do now. Would you have advice for them in a conversation they may want to have with their partner or in any relationship?
Well, it's always best to be authentic with your partner, saying, "Hey, look, I'm noticing that we're disconnected." And the male can ask the female, "What can I do to make you feel even more loved? What else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I do?" And do those things. The female can ask, "What can I do to make you feel more respected? What else can I do? What else can I do?" Then you can switch it around again. But if you share that, and both of you or one of you does it and the other one doesn't, that's just data saying, hang on a minute, I'm doing all this and they said that they were going to do it, but they didn't do it. I have to assess my situation. And ABCD, always be collecting data. Then the awareness, you choose, can I do another 2 years of this? Can I do another 5 years of this? Can I do another 10 years of this? Am I going to be ending up a caregiver? Am I going to be this? Because there's so much fear around relationships, but you've got to look after yourself, not in a selfish way, but if you look after this, then, the whole ecosystem is looked after. But sometimes we give, but we don't receive.
And if you end up in that kind of situation, Anil, I don't see really any way out of it unless that other person is willing to change, because if you're giving, I don't know what I'm talking about because I never had this happen to me. Okay, maybe I did. When you're giving, and you're not getting anything back and then eventually you stop giving because you're not seeing any results, at least in my world. And so because I wasn't seeing any positive results, and so I pulled back a little bit, and then she went and found somebody else. And so all of that. But at the end of the day, I got to tell you, I'm happier now than I was ever when I was married, because I'm living the life that I choose to live. And if another young lady wants to enter my life and we hit it off and we have a wonderful time, and she won't be as young as anyway, that's I just let it go and I let it be, because that makes sense to me now. Is that okay?
Absolutely. The golden rule is don't hurt anyone else. Do whatever you need to do for yourself, but be authentic. Don't hurt anyone else.
And that is so true. And in my dating life, I hurt some people and they hurt me and stuff. And it's like, I just want to be friends with people. I don't necessarily need to hurt. I don't want to hurt people anymore. And I don't want to give false expectations of what they think that I can give them, which I'm not capable of and stuff. So I just assume at this point in time, maybe I'm old, I just assume be friends. Brachelle's in a different situation. Aren't you, kid?
Yeah, just a little bit, Kevin. But that made me think that the one tie that we do have is online and social media. So Anil, I have to ask you, if me or Kevin received a message from people that wanted to date us, does that change the dynamic of how you met them in person and the conversation and how it goes and how it flows, and how does it make it different a little bit?
Well, you mean online?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if let's say on Facebook, somebody messaged me or Kevin and said, "Hey, I really would love to get to know more about you."
Okay. The problem is you don't know their intention.
Mhm.
and you really don't know anything about them. Why would
You
they
don't
do
even
that?
know if they're a man or a woman.
Yeah, could be
Yeah.
anybody.
So the golden rule, Brichelle, I think, is this: proximity. When you're actually in proximity to someone, not in a dating scenario, but just in
Yeah.
proximity, you normally best friends with the person you sat next to at school, university, you become buddies, and sometimes you even build a relationship like that. But it's proximity. I'm not a big fan on the online stuff because there are people with bad intention. They've got, you know, 6, 7 people on the go at the same time, and you're
Yep.
just, a number to them. And they're very skilled in making you believe that you're important. So I personally, in my coaching, I teach people where to go, what to do, how to talk to people, how to filter them, how to collect the data, how to analyze it, then make an informed decision, which takes all the guesswork out of it. There's an abundance of great people out there.
Very true.
And that also makes it easier for you because it's not a matter of guesswork, because you're doing your homework, and you're now picking the right people Rochelle, the right person, the right man for you is going to change over time, because your energy is going to continue to vibrate and is going to continue to grow, and the right guy it's just going to show up for you. I just know it.
Well, I have
Yeah,
high
there's no
hopes. I
doubt.
might have to
There's no
meet with
doubt.
Anil and get that extra minute just to figure it out.
And so,
Um,
Rochelle, repeat after me. Okay.
okay,
I'm a catch.
I'm a catch.
That's it. You're a
Okay.
catch.
I'm a catch.
There you
You
go.
go fishing, I'm the biggest one in the pond.
There you go.
Okay, maybe not the biggest one, but I'm the best.
And I tell her that all the time, is that she is a remarkable human being, and she's kind of cute too, but mostly she's just a remarkable human being. She's got great energy, and so if you want to date Rochelle, you need to give me a call and I'll vet you. And I'm telling you, I'm going to be tough. Yeah, so anyway, but Anil, it's you're going to have to come back. Will you come back and talk to us some more?
Absolutely. Yeah. And if you want, you can bring people on the call, and I can help them overcome any situation. Yeah, I'm totally at your service. You've been very generous with me, so I'm very grateful to you.
And Omar is here, and he said,
Hi, Omar.
"Nice to watch." And thank you, Omar. And we're just thrilled because relationships are one of the biggest things that we have to negotiate in life. And if you have a great one and a great marriage like you do, it can make your life so sweet. And conversely, if you make bad choices, it can be a really bad scene for you. And so talk to Anil, make the right choices, do your due diligence, do your homework, and make sure that you are on, and go to his website, which is meetanil.com. That's ANIL. Isn't that right?
Yes.
No, you got it wrong. It's Meet Anil. MEET Anil.
See,
ANIL.
yeah, I'm sorry.
Cut. Do that again. And an important thing is, Rochelle, get someone who laughs. Who can laugh at himself. Doesn't take himself too seriously.
Okay, that's good advice.
That really is, because people who take themselves too seriously are going to they have an ego, they've got different issues that they've got to
They
deal
stress
with
me
as
out.
well, and they do stress you out. So
Yeah.
again, I want to thank you for being here, and Rochelle's going to give your website out so I don't screw it up again.
Yes, go to meetanil.com. That's meetanil.com. Thank you for your time. Thank you for having a passion to do the work that you're doing and being so willing to make the difference that we need. I just want to give you the last moment of our time to share a message to leave the show that you think is prominent with our audience.
Okay, so this one sentence will change your life, change
Okay.
my life. Be so amazing that you cannot be ignored. And if you are ignored, it doesn't matter, because how you show up will be the best version of you. Just like in that first clip you showed, be the best version of you, and your life will change. The people's life around you changes, because you never know what other people are going through.
And even if that means that the people that are currently in your life no longer are in your life, new ones will show up, and they will be better than what you left behind, I think. Is that true?
It's true. And we can talk about a process I have to filter out those and then bring new people in. And it makes all the difference. Who you spend time with is who you become.
Write that down, Rochelle, because we're going to do that next time.
Yes. Thank you for your time, Anil. And please do come back soon. I cannot wait to ask you more questions.
Thank you.
And have a great day, everybody, and make your relationships great. Do your due diligence. Thank you for being part of Positive Talk with Kevin McDonald, where stories inspire and voices remind us of what truly matters. May today's conversation give you hope, courage, and a reason to keep moving forward. And just remember, till next time, be kind to one another, because each other's all we've got.